So I know in the first video I said that we weren't going to touch the crank, that we thought it looked good and we were just going to run it. But after the crank and, well, after the cases, after the bottom end really, sat on the bench for a few days, I noticed a small coolant leak developing. So I took it down to Froze and we started to investigate, and here's what we found. The top half of my cases, these are not 800 cases. This is a 600 case that someone has ground out here to accept 800 cylinders. In their grinding out process, they've taken too much of the water jacket wall off right here. Now, take a look at this and let me show you what a correct one should look like. Boom. This is a lot thicker, okay? Now, this being so thin, it doesn't make a seal. When the gasket's on here, the coolant can seep from here into here, goes in the bottom end, ruins bearings, bad news bears. These cases were out, no good. Then we started to investigate the crank, and what we found in the crank was that the PTO side bearing over here, this girl was pretty loose, this one was a little loose, same over here on the magneto side. So, you know, putting NOS on this thing, we were like, well, we better just get a new crank while we're in here, and we need some new cases since these are trash now. So once we determined that my bottom end was trash, I immediately reached out on Instagram, put out some feelers, and my boy Bryson hit me up and offered me a 2005 800 RMK with about 1,700 miles on it. I went and picked it up from him, took the motor out, took me about an hour, completely disassembled the motor, took everything apart down to the crank, and this is what we came up with. Here are the cases out of the donor sled. These are true 800 cases. As you can see, the water jacket wall is nice and thick. No grinding to accept 800 cylinders. These cases are in great condition. We're really excited to use them. Unfortunately, the crank in this machine was already broken, so we knew that going in. So I bought a new crankshaft from Utah, Crankshaft and Short Block. That will be here in a few days. And we're going to start reassembling bottle feeders. So she went from a top end only to a full crank up rebuild on this motor. So it should be able to handle all this nitrous oxide we're about to spray in her. Wanted to show you guys the crankshaft quick before it went in. I called up Utah Crankshaft and Short Block, and they sent me over this bad boy. You can see down here on the PTO side, the bearing looks a little different than the traditional wide bearing you see. After telling them what I was doing with the machine, that I was putting nitrous on it, they said that this configuration, which is something special they do to cranks, will work better. So that's what they sent over. Yeah. For the top end, we chose to go with OEM pistons from 2005, and I sent my cylinders out to US Chrome to get re-nickel-sealed. Here's a quick look. Everything's been bagged and tagged. We're taking it all out, putting the motor back together, putting it back in the machine. So the camera died and I wasn't able to film it, but I took the clutch apart, as you can see here, and we're going to replace the weight bushings and check out the rest of the stuff. So this motor stop pad that goes right here, as you can see, it's mangled, but luckily my part sled came with a brand new one. So we're gonna get this bad boy out, put it on my machine. So I bought this part sled the other week and I forgot to film it, so I'm gonna go over it quick with you guys. It's a 2001 RMK 800. It's got a 144 track on it, and it also came with some Fox shocks. The seat's in real good condition. All the controls are here, not broken. It's got the windshield still. The hood's in great condition. It's got some SLP skis. It's got some SLP skis on it. All the A-arm, or all the trailing arms are intact. It's a little dirty, but I've already been stealing some parts off of it. It's got a SLP can that I can sell. It's got a newer airbox. It's still good condition. It's got the booster bottles here. The motor's pretty roached. locating pin carved a big hole or gouge in the cylinder wall. Let's see what the bottom end looks like eventually. I got an extra clutch, and it came with the newer P85 like you get on a current player, so that's pretty cool. But yeah, scored this thing for 150 bucks. I'll be pulling parts off of here for bottle feeder all winter.